where these problems are, who are these people, and we are very skeptical today to hire these people on an ongoing basis. The incidents have increased across 2009, it is still going on. So this is one change that we recommended, and we are over a period of time building the database through which we are able to identify that this person has committed some fraud somewhere and what could be done around that.
Any experiences that you can share in terms of innovation and talent acquisition? Pragya?
How do you define innovation in talent?
Like I'll give you an example. If you look at a lot of other industries today, they're using a lot of other tools. A lot of them have put one innovation which happened donkeys years ago was that somebody woke up and said, I will have a very robust internal reference mechanism. That caught pace with the ITS industry, and that became, from an innovation became a given in that industry. So that is what I'm referring to. Or you're looking at
using SHL forever.
Yeah, we've been doing that.
In terms of innovation, I think what Rajan shared, that is innovation. Having somebody come in from General Motors to head a division for an insurance company is innovation, I would think. That's a very lateral kind of thinking where you're actually thinking of getting somebody with the right skill set but no industry knowledge. I would say that is innovation.
So, taking from that itself, how often are you doing, because one of the other perceptions about the banking industry specifically was that it's a very intra-industry circuit. We can understand whether there are skill sets involved, high-level skill sets. But what about the staff function, things like HR and other? Are you clearly looking for people from outside the industry, or is it preferred to be within the industry only? And this is for banking.
Specifically for banking, yeah.
Let me take that. I think if you look at the banking industry per se, I think there is a thought which came in 2007 when there was so much of competition. And the candidate was the king, and it was an employee-driven market, where you had someone who interviewed and he said, you know what, I get 4.5 lakhs, if you don't give me 9, I'm going to a Deutsche. He went to a Deutsche and said, if you don't give me 9.5, I'm going to a Citi. We went to a Stance. But 2008 changed the whole world, and we all benefited in some form or manner from the touch of the recession that happened. Right, but I think if you look at 2010, last quarter, 2011, and the way I get to know of people or other banks of hiring, we will at some point reach a stage where we as an industry will have to look outside, like what Rajan said, and look at how we expand the whole talent base. We have to start questioning our own paradigms and saying that, why do we have to look within the financial industry to hire? For our front end or for our junior middle level people who have
At HSBC, I think we already do. We place people in sales from FMCG, in HR from FMCG.
Yeah, I think we would need to go beyond that. If you were to look at it, I was having this discussion actually with the business head last week, and we were talking about it, and I was questioning this whole paradigm, saying, why can't you look at a Mercedes-Benz sales guy to get for a relationship manager? And the look that I got was there, and we debated about it. I said, you already have in a banking model an insurance expert who go and sell insurance to the relationship manager. You already have an investment expert whose job is to go and help close the sale. And if you need a good sales guy to go in, primarily you need someone who the client will trust, who the client will believe. He doesn't have to be the most knowledgeable person. So challenge your own thinking and say, let me go and get a Mercedes guy who will come and be my relationship manager. He'll get the clients with him. He'll get the knowledge of dealing with that genre of people, right? And you should upskill him to be able to do that process. One, we will be expanding the talent base. Second, we will not be held ransom going forward a year down the line when again the same circle starts.
And there will be pressure also on your own talent pools because look at how telecom is expanding.
Also, if you look at it, it's the cost to the revenue. If I pay more for the guy who I hire because this competition is willing to put more money on the table, then my revenue asks for him goes up for me to get that balance going.
Yeah, which is the whole point of an industry body interacting with all of you today was to understand what are those kind of challenges that you face that we as an audience collectively can help you with. So that was one of the things that you mentioned.
One of the issues, sorry, just to complete the question, one of the issues that comes up is, see, logically, like you said, in a demand-supply scenario over a certain defined period of time, it makes sense what you say. But the problem is to get that guy, the hiring manager, who's looking at 5 CVs, to give equal weightage to the other ones. His natural, inclination is to pick the 2 banking CVs and say, okay, first let's see these 2 guys, then we'll see the other 3. So now this is where the paradigm that one has to crack, because otherwise it's forever going to be like that. And then when it gets really tough, then there's going to be a problem. So is there a direct initiative on something like this is my basic question.
So incidentally at Kotak, it is slightly different. I'll give you a perspective of what is happening. 2007 it was, so we had internal debate about generalists versus specialists. Is this the time to have specialists or is this the time to have generalists in the industry? And typically in 2007, we were able to afford because the risk-taking capacity at that time was much higher. You can afford a person who's coming from outside the industry to take, to experiment new things, try new things, make errors and learn. At this stage, at least for next 4 to 5 years, we clearly see that we need specialists who take. I'm talking about the senior level. And assuming that I have a strong internal job posting, then I'm moving people internally within the organization. But very clearly, we do require specialists at the top who know the job that they are doing and will not make any errors. We cannot afford in the next 4 to 5 years to.
What we did was when we were building our organization, when the leadership team was put together, there was me who came from FMCG, our CFO came from non-insurance. Now both of us picked up teams which are not essentially from insurance. Now I don't know if it's a coincidence, but my reason for doing that was because when I used to interview a lot of HR guys from insurance, they were used to a lot of scale. So anytime you say, I managed 2,000 guys, I managed 3,000 guys, so that is the way the job was described, that's what I'm responsible for. And we said, no, we can't offer you that, but we can offer you something else. So that led to my hiring most of my guys from outside the insurance industry, and overall there's an appreciation in the organization for that. Same thing we did for finance. Of course, there are certain technical parts where you need expertise. So I think one is that there's an internal, like you were saying, we need to push for that. The second one, we found where we could not do it was where there's a very hard-coded thinking of insurance. Branch managers, I just go right down to the frontline leadership. Everybody signs off saying that yes, we need 50 to 75% people outside the industry, but when it comes to selection, to your point, people believe it's easier to hire trained guys from insurance. In actually, it doesn't turn out so way, and there's a, you're just on the treadmill all the time. So that was a learning we were new. I think this year we will try and consciously see if we can change some of that.
But I think in sales, we can still look at the perspective of getting out of the industry. But when it comes to operations, say underwriting, claims, this kind of things when we talk about, I don't think so. The experiment of getting into a different industry can be thought about.
So that's
but the percentage of jobs are so small. I mean, that's niche skills for the industry, and the percentage is very small. I'm absolutely with you. There you need people with expertise.
I have an observation, and that's a struggle. I don't have anybody who works with me at pan-India level to fill up my frontline positions. And I don't think anybody wants to take that challenge. I have failed with Malfoy, I have failed with all the names you can think of. And I don't think anybody in India, in the recruitment, pardon my saying so, in the recruitment industry, has a vision to make a public limited company. I haven't seen anybody, saying and waking up and saying that I want to create this whole organization which is pan-India, and I want to go to places like Ahmedabad, and I want to go to not places like Ahmedabad, but maybe Baroda of the world, and we will have a vision whereby we will create 3 companies, 4 companies in India, which are recruitment companies at a scale where you can come and talk across the table. Right now, what I get to sense is a comfort level. Anybody I talk to says, I want to do middle management jobs, I want to do senior management jobs. But that's not my need. I have hardly a few positions there. Right? How can I give you, and there are so many takers for those people. Ultimately, it works with relationship. I feel comfortable with somebody, I give them that job. And that's it. I don't have anybody who is professionally managing the whole recruitment scenario. And that's my challenge to this forum.
So what's the problem you faced when you went out and spoke to these people? Somebody,
They don't have
evidently
capacity.
you
They don't-
named the company, they came and spoke to you and
They
you
don't,
started
they don't
working with them.
understand. They don't understand the geography, they don't understand the challenge, they don't understand that what kind of person do I have to speak to them.
Which means they don't have the spread that you want.
No, they don't have the understanding, forget about the spread. I'm sure they
No, I
can
mean,
bring in manpower.
if you're in a particular city, you would understand that city. So, they don't have the kind of spread which brings them
You
knowledge.
don't need to, because I'm not in that city when the first time I go there. But you need to be understanding the. So, for example, let me just tell you 2 or 3 challenges I had. I wanted to hire people in Punjab the first time.